Let's take a look at some of the action. Well, before we go to the highlights, let's tell you a little bit about the game. It was held at Cook Memorial Field in Union. Union came into the game ranked #1 in the poll. They had won 26 consecutive games. Their last loss came in the North Jersey Section 2 Group 4 state championship game against Montclair in December of 1983. And after a scoreless first half, well, Summit came away with the victory by scoring a touchdown with 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Rob Paisler scoring from 6 yards out, and that was all the scoring. We'll take a look at some highlights, and we'll pick it up in the second half. And Summit took the opening kickoff of the second half, and they just drove down the Union gut. Here's Rob Paisler, who had 67 yards on the day on 16 carries. It led to this field goal attempt by Mike Fioli, but the 24-yarder was wide. It was 0-0 at that point. Summit held. Union had a punt, and here's Fioli. And look at him go. He gets the wall to his left, and he's gone on a long punt return. This gives Summit excellent field position. Summit really moved the ball well against this Union defense, which had not yielded a point. The only 2 points scored against Union came when the center for Union snapped the ball out of the end zone in the opener against Irvington. So the defense had not yielded any points, but Fioli's punt return gives Summit excellent field position. The drive continues into the fourth quarter, and Paisler goes in from 6 yards out, and Fioli had the extra point. And again, the final score was 7-0. We'll look at Paisler go in one more time. As we said, 16 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown for the senior fullback. His junior partner in that backfield, Mike Fioli, 16 carries for 58 yards. Total yardage for Summit, 185 yards, for Union, 194. But the second half really told the story. Summit had 2 long drives. One resulted in that field goal, which went wide, and of course then the touchdown drive. 156 yards in total offense for Summit, and for Union they had just 84 yards total offense in the second half. So offensively and defensively, a good second half, a good 24 minutes for Summit. Bubba Wilmore, the leading rusher for Union, he had 8 carries for 48 yards. Again, the big upset. The #5 ranked Summit Hilltoppers defeating Union 7-0, snapping a 26-game winning streak. Howie Anderson is in our studio with Steve Mayer. He may disagree with my assessment that it was an upset, but at least based on the rankings, it has to be considered that. Here's Howie with Steve.
Well, Matt, as you can say, and as you have said, that Howie Anderson has joined us, and I will ask him that question right now. Do you consider it an upset?
Well, I guess you have to consider it an upset if they are ranked higher than you are and they're picked by the newspapers to win. We didn't feel that it would be an upset if we won. We felt we had a good club. We felt we had to overcome the tradition and the mystique of playing Union, who had won 26, and playing at Union, and that if we could just play our football game, that it would be a good football game and we would be in it.
Teams have been trying for 26 years, gunning for a Union, and you're the ones that finally got them. What do you feel that you did during the week to prepare your team to get ready for a big game like this?
Well, when you consider the 26 wins, first of all, they've had some great athletes in the past, and they have graduated. This is a good Union team. I don't know whether it's as good as last year's. We didn't play them. But during the week, we worked on technical stuff, on how we had to contain their offense, and almost more important, how we had to be able to move the ball against their defense, because they play an exceptionally good, sound defensive football game.
Offensively, they came out of the chute quickly today, and they moved the ball, but they fumbled right on the first drive of the game. Do you feel that the momentum changed right there, and that really gave your team some added confidence?
No, not really. We held them, and then they threw a waggle pass, a bootleg type of pass, and they caught us a little bit, and it was a big gain for them. But I really don't think that was had any real, how should I put it, didn't have any basis for us to worry, because we knew what we had to do, and okay, we didn't expect to stop them cold, naturally. And if they were going to slip in a pass completion or a run, fine. We wanted to keep them out of the end zone, and most of all, we wanted to keep them from sustaining a long drive against us.
Now, you mentioned you didn't think you could stop them cold, but actually, when you look on the scoreboard, they did not score, so you did stop them cold.
Well, yeah, our defensive team, all 11, played almost a perfect football game. But you're not going to contain a Union football team from some first downs and some gains that are going to put you in jeopardy. And we did shut them out, and that's to the credit of our 11 kids.
Well, as we saw in the highlights, your team made the big plays. Mike Fioli was in on most of those, the big punt return, 2 interceptions he had today. He played a fine game.
He did. He had an outstanding game. He was one of those 11 that contributed, our line. And Rob Mitchell, who had a big sack near the end, and our linebackers just did a real great job. I can't. Mike, had a couple of big interceptions, and of course he was a big part of our offensive game. But it's hard to single out anybody in an effort like we had today.
When, in the fourth quarter, you finally got your points as Paisley went over for the touchdown, what was going through your mind?
I looked at the clock and I saw that there were 9 minutes left, and I thought that they would be the longest 9 minutes of my life.
And were they?
Just about. They were, and of course there was, at the end of the game, there were 2 crucial fourth down plays that when we had possession. One we made by about 6 inches, and one we didn't make by about 6 inches, which gave them the opportunity for one more shot at it. And they were almost out of timeouts, which helped. They threw a couple of passes. They completed a screen to the tight end. And then we got a sack, and then there was a penalty. They used their last timeout, and they threw it up one more time, and Mike intercepted it. And then we sat on it for the last 10 seconds.
When did you finally realize that you had Union beat?
When Mike intercepted that last pass, and I told the quarterback, Keith, to run the play that we called quarterback fall down. And actually, the clock started, and they were out of timeout, so we never ran a play. But it was not until that point, because they still had a chance to score. And knowing Lou Rutino and the class operation that he runs, I knew that they would go for 2. I mean, they have the big streak, and they're not going to, settle for a tie.
What does this win mean to Summit High School?
Well, it means a lot not only to Summit High School and our football team, but it means a lot to our community and our town. A lot of people were very apprehensive about coming into the Watchung Conference and playing the class football teams and in the other sports, but we've done very well, and it means to the town that we will hold our own competitively. It's it's a big, big win.
Well, once again, congratulations on the win, Howie.
Thanks, Steve.